we start our meeting tonight, we're going to have the pledge, and we're going to have the invocation, and this evening the invocation is going to be given by Eric Hopkins. We invite different people to come and have the invocation each time. If there's anybody that would like to do it, just call my office and we'll arrange to do it. Whether or not you participate in the invocation will not have a bearing on the business that you've come here to conduct tonight. So first of all, let's all put our cell phones on vibrate or off. Get ready for that. Oh, you jumped the gun. And we're going to do the pledge, and I get to lead it.
Down myself.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow with me. Heavenly Father, we gather here today with the intent on doing good work. May those in charge represent fairly and well. May their efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. Guide them to serve with respect for all. May their personal faiths give them strength to act honestly and well in all matters before them. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
I'll call the meeting of the City Council for the 18th of February to order. I'll have roll call.
Councilwoman Risch.
Present.
Councilman Weber.
Present.
Councilman Schomel.
Present.
Councilman Nabi.
Here.
Councilwoman Montgomery.
Present.
Councilman Creech.
Present.
Councilwoman Stevens.
Let the record show there are 6 council people present. We have a quorum and we can do business. Moving on to the next item of business. We welcome you folks that are out here tonight. It's a nice evening. It's melting. We appreciate you coming. And we'll have the reading of the minutes. The last meeting of February 3rd, 2014.
Make a motion to accept them as
And a motion and a second to accept the minutes as they were sent out to the council people. Are there any additions or corrections? None appearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2014-05, City Hall reimbursement. Receiving money back, $467.99. That should be an easy one.
I move to pass resolution number 2014-05.
Second.
A motion and a second to consider resolution 2014-05. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Pending ordinance 3101, salary ordinance for the utility department, non-bargaining employees. I hope you've had an opportunity to read that. We're trying to straighten up our salary ordinances and get them in line. We're doing some work on those things. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
And now, is this one that we held up last time?
Yes.
You were going to do changes. What changes did you make, if any?
There are a couple minor changes in the figures, and it's just cents where...
Yeah, okay, the calculation from 30, yeah, okay.
And then we did make it, this was retroactive to January 1st, 2014.
Okay.
I have a question. Is this like a negotiation?
No,
Like a
this is
contract?
non-contractual people.
Okay.
It's the office people.
They're getting the same pay, we're just putting 40 hours down. They were working 40 hours, but we're making it 40 hours for the same pay. Everything's the same.
The salary ordinance, the original salary ordinance was for certain employees to only work 35 hours a week, even though with their business hours, they need to be there 40 hours.
Okay. Okay. Well, I still have a concern. It's in the last 3 lines. It reads, for all full-time employees, the holidays, vacation days, sick days, and personal days will be counted as hours worked for calculating overtime.
Right, it has to be.
It has to be?
That's
It's law. If you get a vacation day during the week, that's 40 hours. That's 8 hours that day. And it has to be calculated as that. So if you would work overtime Saturday, you get overtime pay.
Okay. Is that recently changed?
It's been federal law.
Okay. Because I was really thinking that at, like, my place of employment, forever, that if you had a vacation or if there was a holiday in there, that it wasn't considered worked hours.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's always been that way here,
Huh.
the 10 years I've been here.
Are you a supervisor in your department?
No, hourly.
Hourly.
Hourly. I mean, you could, the people I work for now don't like to do that, I guess, but at some point, you know, you could even take excessive, like, vacation time over 40 hours if there was vacation time or sick days or a holiday, because it didn't count as overtime. I mean, because, you know, they're going to have to pay you anyway, is kind of sometimes how they looked at it. But it wasn't counted as overtime. You know, you could have 48 hours paid in a week, but it wasn't overtime. It was just, you know, 48 hours.
Anytime you work more than 40 hours in 1 week, even if it's a vacation day or a sick day that you're paid for, then we have to pay overtime after 40 hours.
Mayor, I believe that's covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act.
It is.
Yeah, all right, and that's, I agree with you.
Okay. Well, it might just be how they interpret it, and they,
Now, all of our pay is based on 80 hours, because we pay every 2 weeks. But see, you could work 32 hours 1 week, and you'd work 42 hours the next week, but you'd still get 2 hours overtime for that week you worked 42. Even if you didn't the first week.
okay.
Seems a little funny, but that's the way it's based on 40 hours a week.
Okay, well, I mean, I might be wrong.
Might check that out, and you got some money coming.
Well, I doubt that, but,
Anyway, that's what we're doing with this ordinance. Any other questions or any other discussion? I'll take a motion if you...
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Comments from the floor? Good evening. A couple months back when the council passed a city ordinance to rightfully give all non-bargaining unit members a $1,000 raise. That includes street superintendent, assistant superintendent, street department secretary, grant administrator, city TV director, assistant director, park superintendent, park secretary, park recreation director, police secretary, and clerk treasurer was added, along with her staff. And it was rightfully so to give them that $1,000 raise. As the mayor stated during that time, it's been 5 to 6 years since any of those departments, any of those positions had a raise. One thing that was omitted was, and purposely omitted it appears, all utility non-bargaining employees were omitted on that $1,000 raise. After some conversation with the mayor and also with Julie present, it was originally assumed that those girls already made more than other staff, in which they don't. I propose that these well-deserving people get a $1,000 a year raise also. The comment that gained a $1,000 a year raise for Julie and her staff and the mayor's secretary was that they do work for Connersville Utilities. So all the money came out of Connersville Utilities in order to give them that $1,000 raise, which from Connersville Utilities, that's a 70% increase. Not overall in their pay, but 70% increase from Connersville Utilities. The staff of 8 does 100% of Connersville Utilities service. So I respectfully request that you recognize that and give the utility staff a $1,000 raise, just like all non-bargaining employees did throughout the state, or throughout the city.
Dave, I have a question.
Sure.
Who does the billing?
Who does the billing? Our staff produces all data, and then it's sent to a third party for printing.
That's right. So your people don't do the billing?
They don't do the printing.
Okay.
They do all the data collection, data figuring, and then they send the data and it's printed. Just like someone would set at a computer, do all the work, send it to the printer, be printed. They do all the work.
Well, the reason my question, I noticed mine was postmarked from Indianapolis, and I didn't know if you people did them or not. And now that you brought it up, when I was on the utility board, we had hired a company from St. Louis.
McKee.
Have you folks followed through with all their recommendations?
Not all of them.
Okay, there were still more people than what they recommended? Okay.
Well, I don't know that that's true. That there's
No,
more
I just
people.
asked him. I don't know. I
That
just
there's more
asked him.
people, you know, because it's my understanding the last information that we received from the McKee plan, as you're referring to, was that McKee stated that they had reduced the staff beyond an acceptable level, so they recommended you hire their staff to fill those positions.
Well, I'd asked the mayor this. I'm not talking about you because you work for the mayor. The issue I've had, Fran, is there 19 utility employees?
I think there's 16 that work the roads, the streets.
Are you talking about Congress utilities overall?
Yeah.
Overall, there's 26. We just hired one.
26. And how many supervisors do you have?
One for the office and one for everything else.
Well, Ms. Orton could have said something about an assistant supervisor. And you have a sewage plant. So there's yourself.
Well,
the
I'm the general
supervisor.
manager and the
Okay,
assistant
there's
manager.
yourself. There's an assistant manager at the utility plant.
There is not one, but I'd like to get
Oh.
one someday.
I thought she didn't run the sewage plant?
Yes, she is. She's
Okay,
a
so that's
director.
two. And you have an
yes,
office
I'm sorry.
manager?
Yeah, she's
I thought
a-
you said there was an assistant manager.
No, I'm sorry, at the sewage plant.
There is a superintendent, yes.
Okay, so we have three people that are supervisors for the 23?
Yes, we have 3 supervisors. You, the superintendent of the...
Oh, okay, if you're talking, because I typically don't do the day-to-day stuff if I can all, you know.
We
I've
have
got
3
plenty to do.
supervisors for 26 people. That's right. That's what I
I'm
was
the
trying to
general
ask you.
manager, and then I have an office supervisor and the wastewater supervisor.
Okay.
If you want to count me as a supervisor?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so there's 3
But if you're talking about
supervisors.
management, yes, there's 3 management.
Okay, there's 3 managers, so that would be 3 managers for 23 people, am I correct?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
I looked at those salaries, and I don't think you've proved to me yet that they weren't equal to what our people are getting over here. And when you said that it was a 70% increase, for 6 years Melissa didn't get anything for preparing all of the documents and doing everything for utilities, nothing. And we now started paying her because it's a State Board of Accounts requirement. If she does utility work, she can't be paid by the taxpayers, she has to be paid by utilities.
But utilities provides the documents, she puts them together in a packet.
Well, she does a lot of calling. She receives call every day for,
And I'm not saying that people aren't due those raises.
but what I'm saying,
by
she
no
never,
means saying
that position never did receive utility pay. We were paying for it with taxpayers' money. That's cheating the taxpayer.
But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anyone's not deserving of
But
it.
it wasn't a 70% increase for her, it was a,
From the utilities.
it wasn't a
Billing.
70% because she
From-
never got anything.
Okay, then it's 100% for her.
Well, she,
But like I said, no, it's not that people are not deserving of those increases, they are. But the office staff has suffered the loss of the same standard of living as any other position.
Julie and I are charged with building the budget. And I think we consulted with you when we built the budget.
Excuse me.
And we consulted
You
with
told me
you.
after you said
We
it.
told you that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And I stand by my word, that's what we did, and we did it. If I had to do it again today, I'd do the same thing. Because I looked at those salaries and they were all equal or more than what the salaries were here.
I have them with me, you and I went over those.
You know, when you add in the different, they get from water, sewer, stormwater, and think
That's a good point. This $1,000 I'm requesting for the staff is not $1,000 out of water. It's actually divided by 3. So it's going to be $333 out of water, $333 out of sewer, $333 out of stormwater. Because the office staff serves all 3 utilities, so they get paid in that manner. So
How many people do you have in your office?
have 7.
7. Julie, how many people do you have in your office?
9, 3,
You do the payroll for how many people?
the whole city.
40?
Well, you and I privately have, and with Julie, have discussed this before. And I'm not saying that they aren't working hard.
Well, the point I'm saying, 7 people in that office ought to be able to do the job when they produce 1 bill a month and they send it to Indianapolis to be prepared.
There's so much more to do.
Yeah.
So much more.
Well,
to do
I
than
told
just that.
you in the beginning,
He sat on the board. He knows how it is.
if you'd like for me to do, I will hire a time study, we'll do a time study over there and see if you need more people.
If that's what you think is needed, but I think these people deserve the same recognition and not to discriminate against those ladies.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I have, and this is not personal, accounts payroll clerk, you brought it up, they earn $36,108. Julie, the lady that does our payroll, how much does she make? Close to that?
Probably right around that, yeah.
About the same.
So this is not personal, Dave, I just don't see this. I mean,
Well-
and again, I'm not talking about you, Dave, I'm not talking about you, Leonard. But as a council person, just once, I would like somebody from the utilities or somebody from the Board of Public Works come and say, I've got a great idea for the utilities that's gonna save $5. But it's always, you want a rate increase or you want more money. And I'm not gonna vote for it.
Well, we report to the Board of Works twice
That's what
a
I
month,
just said, Dave.
and we show them ways we can save money. Right now, we're attempting to save money at the wastewater treatment plant with the new blower. The Gray Road Booster Station today is being retrofitted into a VFD, variable frequency drive, so it could save money and wear and tear on the equipment. There's always a lot of little things. Now, as far as millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, no, but there are 5 to 10,000 that are saving here and there.
Well, I know the last substantial savings we had, again, the last year I was on the utility board, and we hired the McKee Company, and they saved us a great deal of money. A better way to operate our business instead of, again, this is not personality with anybody, but we just did the same-o, same-o. Am I not correct, Brent?
Yes, I think they suggested automation, and we went to that, and that saved, was able to reduce staff. David, did you say that $1,000 that the city people got came from the utilities? Is that what you said?
Well, the
Not for everybody.
No,
For
no,
the
just
people in my
the ones
office
that do
and
utility
Melissa.
work.
Just
Okay, we didn't
those
point
who
that
do
out.
some-
It sounded like he...
no, just those who do work with utilities. Which is another reason why they do 100% of the work.
Dave,
They get
let me
no
ask you,
recognition.
how much is your salary?
I get, I think it is 62.
62,000 a year? Do you know what my salary is?
No,
Take a guess.
don't have any idea.
What, 44?
With your utilities pay, maybe 47.
Maybe 47. And I have everybody, including your utilities. You know how much I get from the utilities monthly? I think it's $160 a month.
Not much.
Well, I've told you before,
Okay.
I wouldn't want your job.
Okay,
Uh,
well,
It's a thankless job.
But I'm telling you, I do utility work every single day, and I have to make decisions every single day for utilities.
So basically what you're asking for is a recognition thing, like everybody else got.
Right.
It's not, I mean, you're saying $1,000, I'm making this up, it could be $5, it's a recognition thing. So my question, Julie, is the last time, when's the last time we recognized the utility with,
A salary increase?
well, I'm not calling it a salary increase. I guess it does increase your
With any
salary
kind of monetary.
by getting $1,000, but I'm saying, that's all I'm asking, I
The
mean.
one thing, and it's been 2 or 3 years ago, when the utility workers were allowed to go on the utility union insurance.
Which
and-
saved how much to
Yes,
the
it
utilities?
did save a lot to the utilities, but it also saved to the employees.
Right,
Because
they-
if they would have stayed on our insurance, their cost was considerably higher than it is.
Well, I think this is more of a psychological thing than it is a money thing, isn't it? I'm
No,
seeing
I
it
think
that
it-
way. I mean,
I
it
think
is a money thing.
But-
I mean, you're concentrating, I don't know if you are now, but I'm saying, I'm not concentrating on $1,000. I mean, you brought that figure up. I'm concentrating on
comparison.
money that other people in the city received and these people did not and would like to be recognized as such. But sometimes, I mean, and that's what I'm saying, and I understand that. But sometimes, for me, it's awfully hard. I mean, even when we're doing contracts, just because, I'm making this up, the fire got this, you have to give it to the police, or that, and sometimes that's just not fair, or the way it should be.
Gary, if it's like a backhoe operator at utilities makes 18 an hour, a backhoe operator at the street department makes 15 something. Do they feel slighted? Of course they do.
Yeah, so I don't know what your answer is, David. I'm just
Can't
asking,
dig a better hole.
when's the last time, and I guess Julie answered it with, it wasn't actually taking money out of here and saying, here's your money, but what it did was keep more money in their pocket by not having to take it out to pay more of the insurance. Perhaps that
What
wasn't.
we actually tried to do when we did this salary ordinance and brought it to you and we explained it to you, it pretty much makes her girls and the girls over there more level. What's the office manager?
Well, what it does, it makes them more level, but
Well-
what it did was bring these up to match this.
No,
and that's-
it don't
Well,
quite
if we're
match.
doing
Yeah,
the
what's
same
the office
work, wouldn't
manager
that, shouldn't that be what they'd be? I
What's the
mean,
office manager?
Well,
make
I'm not,
Well, if you're
If you're
talking
doing
about
the
office
similar work,
manager,
should be
that would be equal with Julie.
What's the office manager make?
And, office manager,
3 different pays she gets from 3 different companies. Water, sewer, and stormwater. How much does she get?
I only know it by bi-weekly. I can tell you $1,600, $15 bi-weekly for office manager.
1,600 what?
Right. $1,600, $15. So remember, now you're talking about a supervisor position. We're not talking about day-to-day employee as we were talking about with Julie's staff and your staff.
16 what, 15?
And Gabe, let me remind you, we're talking about supervisor there. If you want to just talk about the day-to-day people, we have a cashier that makes $1,089, $1,089, and her lowest girl, and now this, I'm looking at 35 hours and 35 hours to compare it fairly. Our 2 cashiers out front makes $1,000, $1,089 every 2 weeks, and her staff makes $1,234 every
Whose
2
staff?
weeks.
Mine.
Hers.
And there's a heck of a difference between the two.
Well, but,
And true, but you're saying
but
that.
not all the secretaries. I mean, some of the secretaries for the city make less money than the girls in my office do.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Lots of them.
Okay, if I went on up the route, up the list, building clerk, $1,139, meter department clerk cashier, $1,176, accounts payable, personnel.
Dave, where are you getting these from?
Yeah, because
This
Mine's
was,
mine's are a
No,
lot
this is
higher.
from
Well,
the
this
prior
was-
ordinance.
yeah, the prior ordinance went, because the only way I can compare fairly is a 35-hour paycheck with 35 hours that they have.
Okay.
That's the only way I can
We can,
fairly do
we
that.
can sit here all night.
I
I
know
think
something.
that you're out of order. I think you should have brought this to Julie and I, and at least told us you were gonna present this tonight. We can hack this all night. We work on the budget.
No, I
once a year.
think, I think you should bring up, if anybody wants to make a motion.
Leonard, we did discuss this, both publicly and privately, and today, you told me we're not gonna move on this today,
Right.
and yet you're moving on it.
No, we're not going to move at the Board of Works on the policies. We're moving on the
Then I
ordinance,
misunderstood,
but we're
because,
not moving on the policies.
No, it referenced the comp time, I believe. wasn't it?
That's what we're working on. We're trying to figure that
then I
out.
misunderstood that.
Yeah.
well, I think, I mean, if I were one of your employees and you did this and you came up and asked for it, I'd thank you for it, but, I mean, you're
does
doing the
anybody
right
on
thing.
council-
Let me
Does
tell
anybody
you
on council want to make a?
Wait a minute, let me tell you one more thing. I told the Board of Works today, I looked at the financials for the utilities. It's nip and tuck, and I told Dave today, don't bring in 15,000 for this, 10,000 for that, and 12,000 for that, because I don't think the council's gonna sit here and wanna raise water rates this year or next year.
That's where we're headed.
And
If we,
if that's something you wanna do, we can give people a raise.
And the water portion is $333 per employee, not
And if
1,000.
you're thinking about giving some
I-
raises over there, then we better think about water rates.
I'm not touching the salary ordinance the rest of this year, period.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I thought it
I
was
mean,
done.
the budgets are made, and that's it. We're living with it.
I mean, I commend Dave for fighting for your people. I don't have an issue with that. But unfortunately, I represent the ratepayers in the citizens of Connersville. And I don't see it. That's just me. That's just me. If the other council members would like to do that, hey, make a motion.
It's too late.
We'll vote on
I
it.
mean, even to discuss it, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
we're bringing it up for the third
Okay,
reading.
we spent a half hour on it. Do you want to make a motion, anybody?
Why is it too late?
I mean, because we've already discussed
Zero,
it and gone through it.
What'd you ask,
I said,
Mr.
does
Mayor?
anybody want to make a motion here?
Do you mean to give them more money?
To give more money, or to not give more money, or to just let it as it is, or whatever you want to make a motion to, you got a right to.
I'd like to make a comment. I find it interesting, and, I mean, with all due respect, is that sometimes I think this whole process is backwards. And that it seems like now we're getting asked first, and usually we're last. Does that sound right?
How's that?
I mean, as far as like, sometimes we're on the back
Julie
end
and I
after it's already been
presented,
laid out.
Julie and I worked for
And then-
months to present you with budgets. We have a budget committee that went over everything. We presented, we explained it to you. You passed the budgets for the year of 2014.
We didn't pass a budget for the utilities, though.
No, we passed the salary ordinance.
Passed the salary ordinance.
We don't have a budget. I've been trying to get David to make me a budget so we know where we are and how much we gotta spend on these different things. If you wanna change the salary ordinance at this point, you need to do so now, or whatever you
I'll
want.
make a motion that we vote on that ordinance as is. Can I do that?
Yeah. Yep,
what I did.
that's what it said.
And all this is doing is changing, all this salary ordinance is figuring on 40 hours a week instead of 35.
Instead of 35.
They've been working 40 all the time anyway and getting this pay. That's,
They've been getting paid for them.
nothing's changed.
They've been getting paid.
It's another guaranteed 40.
Okay, I have a motion on the
Well,
floor
what
to
was
pass
occurring is
ordinance.
Comp time was being gained, and we need the people there. We don't want them to take off.
Coverage of
I got
hours.
a motion to pass pending ordinance 3101, salary ordinance for the non-bargaining at the utilities. Is there a second?
So,
Got a second? Okay. That means if you vote for this, we're passing this ordinance. And it's the same pay that we passed back in November.
Whatever we did.
November, December, okay.
And the only change you made, Your Honor, was the 4-hour comp time, you changed it to 2, am I correct?
No, the comp
I
time's
thought
not
they-
addressed in this ordinance.
I thought they had a.
There is a little language change in there. If the wastewater supervisor gets called in,
Yeah, because I thought it said originally 4 hours. But it was 2?
yeah.
Okay.
I was told that this merely brings it up to date, makes it legal for Julie to pay these people what she's already been paying them.
Okay. Okay, that's
Goes
what I
from
wanted.
35 to 40.
I don't know how we
Right, that's
got away
fine.
with
I
that with the
figured-
State Board of Accounts,
problem.
but
The money's the
when
same.
we didn't have an ordinance
The
matching.
money is the
Okay.
same. Yeah, I have a motion on the floor to accept this ordinance on first reading. Discussion. Any more discussion? Are you all ready for the question? Okay. Roll call vote.
Councilwoman Rish,
Yes.
Councilman Weber.
Yes.
Councilman Shomel.
Yes.
Councilman Nabi.
yes.
Councilwoman Montgomery.
Yes.
Councilman Creech.
Yes.
Would you like to suspend the rules and pass this on third and final
So
reading?
moved. Thanks, sir.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to suspend the rules and consider pending ordinance 3101 on third and final reading. On suspension of rules only. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? None being opposed, we can move to third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second that we can consider pending ordinance 3101 on third and final reading. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Any discussion? Roll call
No,
vote.
yes.
Councilman Weber.
Yes.
Councilman Shomel.
Yes.
Councilman Nabi.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Montgomery.
Yes.
Councilman Creech.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rish.
Yes.
I wish the media sometime would print all the benefits that the city employees get, starting with their 15 paid holidays, their personal days, their sick days, their off days, their this day, that. Will you guys do that for me sometime, print all the benefits that city employees get?
He's printing
I'm
on.
not sure if that's a yes or no.
The motion carries. You have adopted pending ordinance 3101, and it becomes ordinance number 6161. We have a ordinance pending ordinance 3102, amending the traffic code at 21st Street to have a flasher yellow north and south and a flasher red east and west. We talked about it last time. The police department's endorsed it. We think it's a thing to do.
Do we have to have somebody come and do this if we vote for this change?
We'll have to, just have to get the two lights changed to yellow.
Can we do that, or we have to call an outside out?
We'll probably have Indiana Signal do it.
Yeah.
I have a question. Will there be a sign warning people that
There'll be a sign,
they no
there'll
longer
be stop
stop
signs.
going?
Two signs will be taken out
Okay.
for north and southbound
But
traffic.
people are so used to that being a four-way stop. Will there be something saying,
Yeah,
north-south traffic does not-
In a flasher.
And the red flasher should.
Then we'll put stop signs east and west.
Yeah. Dave,
regular stop signs?
I'm sorry. Last council meeting, we discussed this, and I was all gung-ho about this, and I still am. And I forgot to ask you, are you okay with this?
Yes.
Okay,
Now, fine,
Okay.
I think it's gonna save the pavement.
okay. That's all I had.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept pending ordinance 3102.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept pending ordinance 3102 on first reading, changing the traffic from stop east and west to caution north and south. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Would you like to suspend the rules?
Second.
Okay, to suspend the rules on pending ordinance 3102 to consider on third and final reading on suspension of rules only. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
You don't want to move forward?
I just want to give people, if somebody wants to come back next time, and, I mean, I'm all
We
for
will
it.
put that
Give an
on the
opportunity.
agenda for next time then.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Pending ordinance 3103, this is a transfer in the council budget from other $250 from other contractual services to IT services. We evidently need the money to pay the IT man.
Yeah, the county gave him a $500 raise. and we
Okay, so
didn't
we
know
need
that.
$250. Okay. All right, everybody understand what that is? We share that man with the county? Okay,
How's it working out?
it's working good.
Great.
This is,
What is his salary? It's public salary.
40,000, I believe.
40,500 now.
Yes.
Mayor, and we just pay half his salary.
We pay
right?
half.
Yes.
Do we pay his insurance?
No, we don't pay any benefits,
Good.
they pay all the
Okay.
benefits. But we trade them back. On Diana, we pay the benefits and they pay
Okay,
half the
yeah,
salary.
not a
So it's an even trade. Okay. I wanted his salary to be, because you can see his salary for a person of his quality and his
Oh,
degree,
it's awesome.
the amount of money he saves us each month, each year. We were spending money all the time.
I move pending ordinance 3103 be passed on first reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to consider pending ordinance 3103 on first reading. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Would you like to suspend the rules and consider it on third?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to suspend the rules and consider pending ordinance 3103 on third and final reading. On suspension of rules only. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's us move forward if you'd like.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to consider pending ordinance 3103 on third and final reading. Any discussion? None appearing, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Pending ordinance 3104. This is the housing grant that we talked about, and I'm not sure what the donation is.
Storm.
Storm donation, that's right. Yeah, okay. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept pending ordinance 3104.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to consider pending ordinance 3104 on first reading. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Would you like to suspend the rules and move on to third and final reading?
So moved.
Got a motion and a second to consider, or excuse me, to suspend the rules so that we could consider pending ordinance 3104 on third and final reading. on suspension of rules only. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? We can move forward.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to consider pending ordinance 3104 on third and final reading.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes,
I'd like
we're
to
ready
make
for
a comment.
discussion. We're ready for discussion.
Okay, I just like to make a comment about the storm donation. It's obvious that we can't give money to everybody that comes in, but they do such a nice job of a presentation, and it just, you know, it feeds the masses. It takes care of so many people at one time, and it's a good thing. But like I said, we can't hand out money to every person. We have a line
Agreed.
down the street.
Right. Any further discussion? On third and final reading on pending ordinance 3104, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Pending ordinance 3105, this is a salary ordinance for the PT directors, $9.20 an hour and $8 an hour. And Julie will explain this to you.
It's for the day camp at the Parks Department. We had actually neglected to add the camp counselors to the regular salary ordinance when we did them this year. And since then, we have made some changes, and they want to have directors of the day camp. So we thought the salaries needed to be a little more for the directors. And that's comparable to what the pool manager makes, so that's what.
How many hours they work?
Less
They
than
can't
30.
work more
So
than
29.
29.
Let me tell you what we've done. We have revamped the entire program. We've, in the process of hiring a professional director, has many years' experience with children. We're going to have 3 adults assisting that director. Then we'll use top quality students, preferably seniors or just graduated kids, to help with it. I didn't. Mike developed a curriculum, a very good curriculum. It's going to include arts and science, it's going to include exercise, it's going to include recreation, swimming, visiting businesses, having different groups come in and talk to them. A much more structured plan, plus time for free play. And we're pushing safety. We had some issues last year that some of the parents didn't think we were running as safe as they thought we should, because we have to cross streets, we have to go to the movie theater, we have to go to the pizza place. We're having safety training, we're having CPR training. We revamped the entire program. I asked Mike last fall to get on it. He's done a great job. He's come forth with a great program, and I think you'll all be happy with it. We served over 1,000 kids last year, and we're already started on this thing. I think we'll serve more than 1,000 kids this year. It's a great thing for parents. It's a great thing for kids for summer. And you don't know how many kids we keep off drugs when we have a structured program in the summertime for the kids. I just wish we could run one in the south end and one in the north end, because we have a transportation problem. But that's what you want to talk anything about it, Mike?
Cover about all of it.
What's the ages?
Well, I'm just doing what you told me.
Elementary school.
It's kindergarten through 6th grade, right?
Are the fees going to be same as last year?
Yes.
Does it come close to, does it make a profit, or does it
Yeah, it
pays for
it supports itself.
It supports itself, yeah, we don't
Don't
make a
make it more.
profit.
We don't plan for it to. It's a program we offer to our people.
Did you say there would be just one director or 3 directors?
The one director
One
with 3
director,
adults
okay.
working under her.
Okay.
And we didn't have that before. We've insisted on that. Any questions for Mike?
But, so Mike, that's what this does, because I'm not familiar with it.
Come on up, Friday.
The counselor would work under the direction of this director. That we went through with Mike, or if I'm saying that
Mike will
right.
be over her, but
Okay.
she'll be over the program.
We'll have more adult presence than we
Okay.
ever had before.
Oh, okay.
So she will be there 29 hours a week. Plus there's like 3 other adults.
Okay.
So we'll just have more adult presence
Okay.
than we had in the past.
What are the hours, Mike, that are open?
7 to 5.
I want to give you a report while you're up there too.
Well, stepped out in the hole.
Oh, okay.
I'm first, so.
Any questions about?
Do you want a motion on this?
Yeah, we
Your
gotta
Honor?
have a motion, we gotta put that in.
I would like to make a motion, we pass pending ordinance 3105.
Second.
Got a motion to pass pending ordinance 3105 on first reading. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Would you like to suspend the rules and consider on third and final reading?
Second.
Got a motion to suspend the rules and consider pending ordinance 3105 on third and final reading. Excuse me, to suspend the rules only. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we can take for third reading if you want to.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second to consider pending ordinance 3105 on third and final reading. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Old business. Have we got any old business, anybody?
Have we heard anything on the trail?
You know, I haven't heard a word on the trail, John. Have you
I-
talked to Jane?
You're dealing with that now, I haven't had any
I talked to her
involvement with
about
it
a month
or
ago, and she said that it wasn't money she was working on. You might sometime stop by and see if she is working on it. Okay? We gotta get that property lined out before we can.
Now, there is a deed, isn't there? A quitclaim deed or something? Don't we have a quitclaim deed?
John?
Oh, there are some deeds, but that's part of the work they have to do to find out what part of the railroad is subject to that quitclaim deed. It's not for the whole thing.
Since we were turned down by the grant for the sidewalk, are we back looking at perhaps using that area if we once can get ownership to make a walk north?
I think that's what your desire was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd like to have some way to keep people off the
Sure.
highway.
Right. What about the building on 8th Street? Where do we stand on that?
I've been waiting on the weather to improve. We've talked to people about running the
this ain't been
machine.
good enough
We're gonna do it. It's just a matter.
Well, I think the
With all this snow
last
and
time you
ice.
said there were some owners in Richmond that we were trying to contact and maybe,
And I think we were able to make contact with them, and I also, John and I and Diane are gonna go to a seminar on this new program with the money.
The grant?
What day is it, John? We're going-
Thursday,
This Thursday?
yeah,
Okay.
at 10:30.
At 10:30. So we'll be doing that. So we
plenty
will-
for cities to
Right.
demolish
Right.
properties.
I invite you to go with us too, if you'd like to, as president of the council. We got room for you. And it's free dinner.
That's my wash day.
That's your wash day?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's good.
Okay. Any other old business? Miscellaneous business, Tom.
Only got one thing. Councilman Nabe reminded me before the meeting that Purdue pummeled Indiana Saturday.
20
Darryl,
points.
you don't have to grin. That's all I have.
Was it 20 points?
It's
Thereabouts.
close.
I thought it was.
Too many.
Debbie?
I don't have anything.
Just tell you, this week is FFA week, so if you see any FFA students, tell them good FFA week. Have a great time.
Grow more food.
Yeah.
Have you got the flowers planted?
We're working on it. We got a bunch of them. Bunch of them.
That's what's important, because spring's
Yeah.
coming, you know, it's
Oh,
40
yeah.
today. We got any miscellaneous business, Frank?
No, sir, thank you.
Dr. Weber?
No.
No miscellaneous business. Move on. Public forum. Anybody in the public today want to say anything?
I'd like to see it, put between, 6 and 7 by public forum, put between that. You rates it again.
Say again, you want it
The
down?
public forum, put
Before we
it,
adjourn.
just for the last thing.
Oh.
It was that way, it's got jumped up again. That's all I have to say. Because if we got a problem and say something, it's at the end of the meeting, you know?
Okay, all right.
I appreciate that. Thank
I'll tell Melissa to do that if I can remember. I made a big error
you.
on
She'd
here.
been doing it.
Huh?
She'd been doing it.
Ashley? Yeah, her dad's been sick and maybe she just got back to the old form. Okay. Anybody on public forum? Nobody? Okay. Department reports. You're up, Park Department.
Monthly report for January. Revenue, $6,915. The expenditures attached for the month, spent $53,847. Like I said the last time, we're just going through a lot of signups right now. I think the last page has our specific information of what we are signing up. But our high school indoor soccer league, spring youth soccer, t-ball, softball, slow pitch softball for girls, all that's happening right now. Just been doing a lot of snow removal, and we've been spending a lot of time in places that we normally haven't touched in years. Basement of the 4-H building, we have completely remodeled that. Basement of the pool. So this weather, we've been kind of working in those little areas that nobody ever see, but we've got a lot of work done.
You've made storage, haven't you?
Yeah, we made a lot of storage areas for us. So maybe when the weather breaks, you guys take a look at the. We're pretty proud of the Roberts building in the basement. If you ever been in the basement in the past, it was pretty bad.
It was rough.
Other than that, any questions?
The soccer field survey, Mike, did you change the dimensions at the soccer field?
Oh, that's an old bill when we
okay.
bought that property and all that.
Okay.
I don't know how it got.
Yeah, I just wondered if you made some changes. Okay.
It's the 5,800 for tables and chairs, is that something we've already talked about?
Yeah, this bill's coming in late.
Okay.
I can tell you this, I don't think it's any secret, we negotiated with a landowner out by the soccer field to buy 10 acres out there to try to move the baseball field out there. Two people are working on that. Ron Goldiron, I appointed him on the Board of Works, and Mike has been working on it. We've made progress, and I think it's a thing that could happen. I think you guys are pretty much in favor of that if we could get it done.
I was going to ask, in the paper last week, they showed the flood damage down.
Yes.
I call it Little League Field, but whatever you call it. Is it worse than normal flood we have?
It's pretty bad, yeah. It's worse than I've seen it in a while.
Okay.
Like I said, we haven't even it's been snow down there the whole time, so we haven't even messed with it yet.
Okay. Well, no, I didn't
we usually
think
get a
it
chance
was.
to go down and work a little bit at a time, but
Uh-huh.
it's a disaster. But we'll get it cleaned up.
Okay, I was just curious.
What we're thinking is, we know we don't have the money to do it, but if you could get the land purchased, and you could maybe put a field in, and then another field.
Over time.
We've been looking at some designs where they just build one building and have 3 home plates facing the 3 sides of that building, and then a concession stand on the 4th side. Kind of like what we did over there. That would work, and it'll have to be done over a period of years, because we just don't have the money, but it would make sense for us to try to get out of there and get up on high ground so we don't have this damage every year.
Every year, yeah.
I mean, it's just costing us every year. I don't know if it's possible, but we're going to continue to look at it. When we get there, we'll bring it to you.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Police.
We had 1,086 law reports, 5 citations issued, 2 ordinance violations, 4 warnings, 6 personal injury actions, 55 property damage actions, 0 fatalities, and 68 arrests. Any questions in regards to budget?
There's money on the back.
There were 3 pay periods that month, and your total expenditure for January, $280,551.81. You had computer maintenance, is that a one-time thing, 17,000 plus?
Yes.
Usually, okay, a one-time a year, okay. I thought that's probably
Yeah,
one of the
maintenance agreement.
things that,
Your overtime was up substantially from last year.
I'm not too sure, but I think maybe part of that is from, sometimes some of that comes over from December. And I'm not too sure in this case, but it could be, because some of them do that. And we did have a 3 pay period last month also. And you'll get a little extra money there.
So it should go down half next time.
Should be. And I've contributed, like in 2013, if you look where it did go over, I cut my overtime in half, and we're using the part-timers through the holidays because a lot of guys and gals were on vacation, and so I have them part-timers working quite a bit, and I don't think I paid the regular officers half of what we usually do if we didn't have a part-timer. They really save us on the holidays.
We got 3 of them still?
No, I got 2 right now. I've got I got one in mind, but I just haven't had a chance to get with him yet and get him in here. But I'll have him in here pretty soon. He's from Connersville, and he's a police officer in Hagerstown. But he's well trained and everything else, and an old hometown boy, and everything else. And he knows the town pretty well. He'll just have to get used to our system, our computer system. I don't think they're on the same thing we are, but it'll be pretty easy to learn. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Dave is not here tonight. As you know, what have we done this last month? Plow and salt, plow.
Well, the money spent $161,896.18, and of that, $10,879.46 overtime because of the snow.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
Don't snow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday and Friday and Sunday and hits.
Yeah.
We do have salt now. We got some salt in. We had to put salt down this morning. Utility.
Good evening. I don't have a prepared report. I'll give my report to the Board of Works twice monthly. So I would like to tell you that people ask about weather and what's it doing to our system. We have a water main break about once every week to 10 days. We have, which is about average, so it's not worse than normal. Frozen meters, we have been blessed with only about 30 or so, so that's been good. It's just inconvenient for the customers, and sometimes it's not us, it's their line. But the weather has been adverse conditions, but nothing unusual compared to most winters, so that's good. Some things you may want to be informed of is our retrofits that go on top of the existing meters. We did receive 3,000 of those to start putting those in. I'm asking the guys to hold off on that until we completely install the entire units that we received previously, the 1,000 whole units, and we have less than 50 to go. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to jump right into the 3,000 retrofits, which should cut back on the number of people required to read our meters every month, because so many were being manually read with the failing transmitters.
Dave, those, that meter you brought down to me, now that's the 1,000's going to be replaced, right?
Replaced, right.
Then
yeah.
you say 3,000 retrofit?
Mm-hmm. That's what retrofit is. You have an existing meter, and this clock and transmitter will retrofit on top of the existing meter. Saves quite a bit of money that way.
So now, now that make us totally automatic? I mean, as far as reading goes, I mean.
Not totally. We still have 2,000. Remember, we have 6,700 accounts total.
I thought it was
and
around
after
6,000.
those retrofits installed, then we have 2 shipments of 1,000 each of whole units. That's the meter and the transmitter.
Will we ever be in a situation where we have all automatic meters?
Yes, my goal is to have it done before I leave office.
Okay.
And we've got it on a program, we're going to get it done.
So how many people do we have read meters now?
Sometimes we have 5 or 6, 7.
Yeah, as much as 7 sometimes.
Because we got meters failing at a rate of what?
They were failing 100 or so a month.
The
I make the same mistake as the mayor just did. I often say meters, and it's not the meters that are failing, it's the transmitters.
Right.
It's not sending the signal to the reader.
Okay.
So the meters are reading correctly, it's not sending the data, so the guys have to go around and read them manually, which since we do it in a short time period, it just takes a lot of guys.
Okay.
So the eventual plan, as the mayor allowed us to do this accelerated receiving of these meters and retrofits, the plan is by summer, maybe late summer, we'll have one guy going around reading the meters.
Okay, so you just saved us money, see? Sounds good.
You might mention the importance of people cleaning the storm.
Yeah, I mentioned that today
Yes,
at the Board of Works. The snow is melting, going to get rain Thursday. If there is a catch basin near your home, there along the edge of the curb, if you would move that snow so that water can get to it, it would relieve that street much quicker. The street department has been doing a great job trying to get all that they can, but you know, we have thousands of those in Connersville, and they can't get all those in the next couple of days. So if you have one near your home, clean it off. That will help you also.
Okay, the other thing, we had a neighborhood meeting of the project about a month ago, or 4 weeks ago. It went very well. We had about 55 people at the meeting, and we started on 21st Street. They cut trees down the last few days, and we're asking people not to park there during the day so they can cut the trees. Been a little confusion about it, but I think they're catching on. I was up there today and talked to some of them. People are understanding now what's going on. We're just getting ready.
Now, Mr. Mayor, this is on your trees between the sidewalk and the street?
Yeah.
Now, will they be doing that on Grand?
Yeah.
Because the guy asked me and I told him I thought so.
Yes.
All the trees go. It's
Okay.
a complete streetscape.
Okay.
Yeah, when NDOT comes in, and that's who's actually the group doing the work, when NDOT comes in, they go from sidewalk to sidewalk, so all that is going to be new.
Okay.
Sidewalks, curbs, street.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And I get calls also, and it seems like once you inform the people, they're comfortable with it.
Might tell them what NDOT stands for.
Indiana Department of
Transportation.
Indiana Department of Transportation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, transfer station.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Transfer station.
You have your report in front of you. If there's any questions, as you can see, we were down about half, and that was on utilities and so forth. That was due to the weather.
Any questions for Tom?
Can't show us now?
No.
One thing I can tell you, our workman's comp insurance actually went down. We told you when we ordered the new truck, it would go down, and it did go down. So we're saving some money there.
They go down significantly?
Huh?
Significantly, or?
Yeah, $10,000.
Yeah. I'd say
No
it's
way,
significant.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Haven't got as many guys in
Okay.
danger.
Yeah,
This
that's
way.
excellent.
That's
You
awesome.
okay, Tom, with yours? Fire department. How are you feeling?
There it is.
Beat up, but feeling good.
You're beat up, but feeling good.
Before we start, I'd like to say it's real exciting being able to do the inspections of businesses, bringing jobs into the community. It's been a real exciting month for us. We've been real busy. With that,
Let me, before you even start, last Friday, my right day, we had the honor of doing the walkthrough on the Wyzetta plant, getting ready to start producing product. And our fire chief, and Tim McFarland, battalion chief, the state fire chief or fire marshal, and Bill McDaniel, and the superintendent of schools went along because he wanted to see what it looked like. They did the walkthrough, and I got a report back from Wyzetta. They were very pleased with our people, the way they handled themselves, the way they handled the few things they found in the plant that need to be fixed. He was very complimentary. He called me and he says, "Your people are just wonderful people to work with." So it goes a long way, Troy. I know you led that group, and I appreciate what you did. And Troy had spent the night before in the hospital.
Yeah.
Got out at 10 o'clock the next morning. So he wasn't feeling real good, but he did a great job. And
we do our acceptance test on the alarms Friday, and I guess they're going to be going pretty quick.
we're not allowed to say the day. We're not allowed
It's
to.
going to come quick, though.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Everybody's going to be really happy when this takes place.
January, we had 110 runs, 198 hours on emergencies, 21 inspections, 14 fire investigations, 3 pre-planning tours, and 112 hours of training. We worked 6 days of part-time for a savings of roughly $2,000. Overtime was up, pay periods, we've got we're back to full force for the first time in a long time. Everybody's off sick leave. We had a couple guys off in January. Flu bug hit us kind of hard also.
How come your overtime was so high, Charlie?
We had a
10,700.
a little bit of that was carryover. The actual,
We had 3 pays.
yeah, we had 3 days. The actual month was on this sheet here, Fran, was 62, which was high also.
It's on that. Okay, your total expenditure for January, $281,091.92.
Did we have some call-in too?
Yeah, we had some call
On
in.
the stand fire, did we have call-in?
Yeah, we had some call in on a couple other fires.
Any questions further? EMS.
Hey, sir.
Thank you.
For January, our expenses was $66,334.39. We received $15,363.87 for a total of $50,970.52, and we made 247 rounds.
You got a sick ambulance.
And a sick ambulance.
Which isn't the one?
Same thing happened as happened before. The O-rings are gone and he's got it tore down and it'll be gone another week. We babied it along for what, 10 months?
Yeah. We've had it since first year. I think we've had it running maybe 2 weeks since first year, so.
Mr. Mayor? Now, when we're in a situation with this one ambulance down, how many does that leave us?
2.
Just 2. We're not in a situation where we have to lease one or anything?
No, not yet. Unless one of those 2 go down, but so far we're doing fine.
Okay.
But the old one won't hold up if we continue to run it like it is.
Yeah, we'll be done.
Of course, you know, we wrote another grant for an ambulance. We're sitting there waiting again. March before we find out.
That's what I was just getting to ask,
And
the time frame.
if we don't get it this time, we're gonna have to negotiate with the county.
It could be, they start releasing them about March, but they release so many every week till they run out.
Dale, let's say we got positive news and we got a grant. How long are we talking about before we actually got a unit, piece of equipment?
If we could get one that was a demonstrator, we could probably have it here in 60 days or less. But by the way we're set up, it won't fit in our buildings. So we could be looking at about 120 days because they have to special build the boxes. And I think 120 is about the quickest.
Thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
City TV, he puts that thing on autopilot and comes right over here.
For the month of January, we did 8 hours, 9 minutes of meetings, 8 hours, 19 minutes of original programming, which included the 3 basketball games, a swim meet, and Nobody Speaks Live. And we're also in production again now on the Fayette Regional Health Talk. So we're working on that.
Well, we might talk about the cable TV board last week, Your Honor, where the board wanted us to pass along and a thank you to the council here for approving money for the WeatherBug, right? Because it's getting a lot of play in Connersville on Indianapolis TV. So.
Yeah.
About once a week.
Awesome.
Sometimes every other day.
I understand Channel 13 really likes
Yeah,
it.
Channel
they're all over it.
The main reason they like that is it's the only accessible high definition camera in the region, really. No other WeatherBug stations have it except Kings Island, I think, maybe downtown Indianapolis. So there's very few in the region that have that. Most of them are because of that. Rather, most of them are elementary schools, older systems, and they just don't look nearly as good.
John, I tell you what, and especially when they do it after dark and the trees, they're lit up, it looks like straight out of Norman Rockwell. It does.
It's good.
So the board was very appreciative of what the council did in authorizing that we could install the WeatherBug thing.
I really think we're going to see growth from that. I mean, I think we'll see growth from that. I think people are going to see that on the news.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Because
see Connersville.
it's a good
Well,
picture.
I find myself watching 13 more than I used to watch 8 all the time.
And you see Connersville?
This morning, someone emailed Channel 8 and told him to get out of the way, that he's always standing in front of Connersville.
He is. He is.
Did one of you do that?
The whole other meeting.
Somebody
Is that right?
Yeah, he said, I've had an email that I'm always standing in front of Congress.
That's great.
It is, but it's a good job, John, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Any questions?
Good.
Thank you.
Any questions for Julie about finances? None appearing. As I told you, John and I are gonna go to that seminar. We're gonna try to learn all we can on this deal we're working on for tearing down houses. So just as soon as the weather breaks, we'll try to rent a machine. I've talked with Billy. Billy kinda got a plan how we're gonna do this. We're gonna try that building. We talked about Wyzetta, we talked about the inspection, we talked about the ambulance. I think we've covered everything that we're working on.
The greenhouses, when are they supposed to come in?
March. We're waiting on the survey, is that right, John?
Well, we got the survey, but the attorney for the, Lifeline Farms
Yeah.
was concerned about some easements that were left out of the survey, and he's having some work done on that,
So as soon as that's done, we'll be ready to transfer the ground?
Right. Yes.
And they're start production soon?
Soon.
And where's that located at exactly?
So 16 acres just north of the cul-de-sac in the industrial park, and it's right in between the two cul-de-sacs, really.
Yeah, it's a large unused area between.
Right top of the hill, there's a hydrant there, and that bare area there. He wants to develop more area besides that, but that's where we're starting.
And how many greenhouses was it?
You know, I can't remember what he said.
It was a large number, but I don't recall
Hoops, he
exactly.
calls them. You probably know more about that than we do.
They're big plastic houses.
And then they grow the product in between two pieces of plastic. Yeah. That's why I brought him out to you, so you
Yeah,
can
I'm
talk to
excited
him.
to talk to him this summer. I'm real excited.
Be a good summer job for you.
Well, I got a summer job ready.
Okay. Anybody out there have anything? I know we took public forum, but nothing? If you don't have anything, I'm willing to take a motion to adjourn. It's 5 after, almost 10 after.
5 after the Olympics.
Olympics started at 8. Not a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?